Popularity-based Representative Congressperson Kamala Harris is a standout amongst the most untrustworthy senators in ongoing history, as per late Actuality checking reports. A week ago, amid Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court affirmation hearing, Senator Harris told an obvious deception so as to make TV dramatization and belittle the chosen one. Her falsehoods started on September 7, when Harris' office put out a progression of misdirecting tweets. Kamala Harris claims Judge Kavanaugh is following anti-conception medication, which is a malevolent lie. Harris' tweets, which have gathered a joint 17,000 retweets, achieved a large number of potentially ignorant Americans. The falsehoods are intended to delude voters on Kavanaugh's character via precisely and purposely taking his words outside of any relevant connection to the subject at hand. At the point when Kavanaugh said those words, he was alluding to a case in which the offended party held that reasoning and was not Kavanaugh's considerations on contraception. WashingtonExaminer.com reports, in 2013, Catholic doctors' facilities, colleges, and support bunches sued the Department of Health and Human Services over the Affordable Care Act's prerequisite that businesses give workers contraception inclusion. The Catholic gatherings contended that the budgetary punishments incorporated into the Human Services Law's contraception quit were an undue weight on their confidence. In 2014, their contention was dismissed by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Kavanaugh, who sat on the court around then and is himself a Roman Catholic, contended in his defense that the gatherings ought to have been given a hearing. A week ago, amid his Supreme Court hearing, Senator Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, asked the judge, "Would you be able to enlighten this board of trustees concerning that case and your sentiment there?" Kavanaugh reacted, "That was a gathering that was being compelled to give a specific sort of well-being inclusion over their religious complaint to their representatives, and under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, the inquiry was first, was this a significant weight on their religious exercise? Furthermore, it appeared to me plainly it was." The judge included, "It was a specialized matter of rounding out a frame, all things considered with, that, they said rounding out the shape would make them complicit in the arrangement of the fetus removal prompting drugs that they were, as a religious issue, questioned." As should be obvious, Kavanaugh was not spreading out his contemplations on contraception. He was unmistakably alluding to the contention introduced by the offended parties for the situation, who held that specific types of contraception were abortifacient or possibly abortifacient. At the end of the day, Harris is lying. In the event that you don't trust me, perhaps you'll trust the coming up short evaluations that the left-inclining PolitiFact, They Went Simple, She Merited the Full Genes Ablaze review, and the Washington Post, Four Pinocchios, both give her for lying about Kavanaugh's perspectives. This is strike two for Harris, who squeezed Kavanaugh a week ago with misdirecting and vaguely worded inquiries concerning whether he had any discussion about exceptional guidance Robert Mueller or his examination with anybody utilized by the law office established by President Trump's own lawyer. Regardless of guaranteeing and consoling columnists that she had proof of a discussion that would have spoken to a noteworthy moral break by a sitting reappraising court judge, it turned out she was simply lying, making the whole thing up out of entire material. This is the reason she declined to give any confirmation or avocation to her charge. In spite of her claim of dependable data, she was compelled to down, and the underneath trade from Thursday evening was the last anybody got notification from her about the defamation she had spent the most recent 24 hours spreading on and off camera. Also, that was that. Everything that illusion, everything that babble about solid data, and it finished with Harris relinquishing the subject altogether and proceeding onward to the following glossy question. From the representative's point of view, there's a cost to pay for misleading columnists, which she did in the advancement of that story. But on the other hand there's an upside, her showy behavior have expanded her odds of turning into the Democratic chosen one of every 2020. Eye on the prize.